Egypt unveils landmark African investment map to boost private sector growth. Foreign ministers from Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Syria and Oman arrive in Norway for Oslo Forum. Prime Minister Madbouli reviews Egypt's 10-year health investment strategy. Egypt has finalized a landmark study outlining investment opportunities across the African continent, targeting key growth sectors for private sector expansion. The comprehensive report maps out promising investment prospects in agriculture, mining, construction, technology, renewable energy, and water management. It offers vital insights into national regulations, economic conditions, and institutional frameworks across African countries. The study is designed to support Egyptian investors and private sector players seeking to enter or expand within African markets. Egypt's stance on the Palestinian cause has remained unwavering for decades. In the face of escalating conflict and regional pressure, Cairo continues to advocate for a just and lasting solution. Here is more on Egypt's position and ongoing efforts.
Egypt's position on the Palestinian cause remains firm, principled and rooted in a deep understanding of regional dynamics. Cairo sees peace, not escalation, as the only path to ensure stability and security for all peoples of the region. Over decades, Egypt has stood as the most consistent and honorable defender of Palestinian rights. From its support for the Palestinian people's historical demands to today's diplomatic efforts, Cairo reaffirms its long-standing role as guardian of the Central Arab cause. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has repeatedly stressed the need to establish an independent Palestinian state on the June 4th, 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital, as the only way to secure lasting peace. That stance reflects not only a national consensus, but also broad international support. Since the outbreak of the war on Gaza in October 2023, Egypt has intensified its contacts with all concerned parties, including the Palestinian leadership and international actors, to de-escalate the situation and push for a ceasefire. Cairo has firmly rejected any attempts to forcibly displace Palestinians under any pretext. Its position stands as a key guarantee against efforts to liquidate the Palestinian cause. Egypt played a critical role in delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza through the Rafah crossing, refusing to accept Israeli control and insisting on the return of Palestinian Authority oversight. It has also coordinated airdrops of vital supplies to hard-hit areas inside the Strip. Despite growing challenges from the Israeli government, Egypt continues to press forward with diplomatic efforts to halt the violence and ensure a just, lasting resolution. As President el-Sisi affirmed, Egypt will remain committed to a fair settlement that guarantees Palestinian rights and to protecting regional peace from the consequences of further escalation.
Foreign ministers from Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Syria and Oman have arrived in Norway for the annual Oslo Forum, set to begin on Wednesday. The high-level closed-door meeting will convene over 100 mediators and diplomats to discuss conflict resolution strategies under this year's theme, All Hands on Deck, Mediation in a Changing World. Organized by Norway's Foreign Ministry and the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, the forum focuses on back-channel diplomacy and sustainable peace efforts. Last year's edition drew 150 participants from 60 countries. Egypt's Environment Minister has called for a flexible yet binding global agreement to tackle plastic pollution at the UN Ocean Conference. Speaking during ministerial talks at the third UN Ocean Conference, Yasmin Fouad outlined Egypt's stance on the proposed plastic treaty. She stressed the need for production cuts, innovative financing, and strong technical and financial support. While welcoming progress on recognizing national differences, she urged action on unresolved issues like hazardous chemicals and sustainable production. Fouad said that a successful deal would prove multilateralism can address global environmental threats. Egypt is preparing to officially declare the elimination of leprosy after years of public health efforts. Prime Minister Madbouli shared a high-level meeting with key ministers and governors to review final steps ahead of the announcement. He stressed the importance of strengthening health services to support sustainable development and called for continued efforts to combat both infectious and non-infectious diseases. Officials also discussed reintegrating recovered patients into society. Ala Farouk, Minister of Agriculture and Land Reclamation, has announced that total funding for Egypt's National Veal Project has surpassed 9.5 billion Egyptian pounds, providing vital support to more than 44,800 beneficiaries. The initiative has enabled the rearing and fattening of over 518,000 head of livestock, significantly boosting meat and dairy production across the country. The minister confirmed that the project's board of directors recently approved 275.885 million Egyptian pounds in new funding. This latest allocation will support 393 additional beneficiaries, primarily small-scale breeders and young graduates, and will cover 3,929 head of livestock. Egypt's transportation minister has made surprise inspections at Cairo's main rail and metro stations ahead of expected Eid holiday crowds. Minister Kamel El-Wazir ordered 24/7 maintenance teams to fix issues. He also directed officials to add extra metro services if needed to handle passenger surges. Egypt's Minister of Religious Affairs has expressed solidarity with Christians following a church fire in Luxor. Minister Osama Al-Azhari called Father Mathios Zakhari, Deputy Bishop of Isna and Armant, to offer condolences after a fire broke out at the Virgin Mary Church in Isna. He also dispatched a delegation of imams to the scene, affirming national unity and stressing that harm to any place of worship affects all Egyptians alike. Father Zakhari praised the minister's gesture and the swift response by citizens to help contain the fire. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli shared a meeting to review Egypt's 10-year health investment strategy. The meeting, attended by the Ministers of Health and Investment, focused on promoting medical tourism and boosting foreign investment. Madbouli emphasized that healthcare is a top national priority, calling it a strategic investment. He said that the plan aligns with Egypt's broader economic strategy, which includes unified national investment mapping, private sector support, and digital transformation. Egypt's banking sector liquidity grew nearly 1% in April, reaching £12.7 trillion. New central bank data shows Egypt's banking liquidity rose 0.9% in April to £12.684 trillion. The growth was driven by local currency deposits reaching £8.27 trillion, with savings certificates making up £6.4 trillion of that total. Foreign currency holdings increased to £3.121 trillion, nearly half from household time deposits. However, net foreign assets declined to $13.5 billion as 4.5% growth in liabilities offset asset gains. The figures reflect continued strong domestic savings amid ongoing foreign exchange pressures. Spanish company Acciona has won a €35 million contract to operate Cairo's massive Jebel al-Asfar wastewater plant. Spain's Acciona has been awarded a €35 billion 8-year contract to operate and maintain the second phase of Cairo's Jebel al-Asfar plant, one of Africa's largest wastewater facilities. The plant processes 2.5 million cubic meters daily, serving 8 million people in eastern Cairo. Later this year, Egypt will launch an international tender worth €350 million for the plant's third phase, backed by the African Development Bank, French Development Agency, and EU. This expansion is part of Egypt's push to modernize its water infrastructure to meet rising demand. Egypt's new development plan targets a major agricultural expansion by 2030, aiming to increase farming's GDP share to 13.5%. Egypt has unveiled an ambitious agricultural development plan as part of its 2025-2026 economic strategy. The government aims to increase farming's contribution to 13.5% of GDP, expand cultivated land to over 12 million fadans, and boost productivity by 15% by 2030. Agricultural exports are targeted to reach $14 billion annually, with a focus on improving wheat yields and scaling up the farmer card program to benefit 5.7 million smallholders. The plan prioritizes sustainable practices, including water conservation, renewable energy, and smart farming, to transform rural economies while addressing climate challenges. The Egyptian Handball Federation has confirmed that national team veteran Ali Zain has signed a 2-year deal with Hungarian giants Telekom Veszprém. Zain has joined the Hungarian champions from Romania's CES Dinamo, where the 34-year-old left-back won 2 domestic cups during his 3-season stint. The move marks another milestone in Zain's decorated career, which includes winning the continued treble EHF Champions League, Copa del Rey, and Spanish League during his 2021 season with Barcelona. A key figure in Egypt's national team success, Zain boasts 4 African championship titles and was instrumental in Egypt's historic 4th-place finish at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. At Veszprém, he will reunite with the compatriot Yahya Adera and welcome fellow Egyptians Ahmed Adel from Al Ahly and Ahmed Hisham from Montpellier as the Hungarian club strengthens its Egyptian contingent. The Professional Squash Association has announced the new world rankings for June, with Egyptian squash stars continuing to dominate the global standings. Mustafa Asal of Palm Hills maintained his position at the top of the men's rankings for the 11th consecutive week, while Nouran Gohar, also from Palm Hills, continued her reign at the top of the women's rankings for the 26th consecutive week. Al Ahly officials have decided to appoint a foreign head coach to lead the women's volleyball team for the upcoming season, following the departure of Ibrahim Fakhreddin, the team's former head coach. This decision comes despite the team winning the domestic league and Super Cup last season, before losing the African Championship title to Zamalek in the edition held in Nigeria. Egypt is under a severe heat wave today, with temperatures soaring to 42 degrees in the south and 37 in Cairo. A dangerous heat wave is gripping Egypt today, with southern cities like baking at 42 degrees Celsius and Aswan at 41. Greater Cairo isn't spared, accepting a high of 36 27 degrees with nighttime lows of 23. Coastal areas will be slightly cooler but still hot. Authorities are warning farmers about morning mist near water sources, while noting active winds might offer minor evening relief. The heat follows a pattern of rising summer temperatures across North Africa this season. This brings us to the end of our news bulletin, and here is what we have been covering. Egypt unveils landmark African investment map to boost private sector growth. Foreign ministers from Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Oman arrive in Norway for Oslo Forum. Prime Minister Madbouli reviews Egypt's 10-year health investment strategy. And that's all for now. I'm Hala Al-Hamalawi. Remember to stay updated by following Q News for the latest developments.